Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm a young adult headmate in Multispace. I'm also fine if you use other pretty feminine names for me, like Delilah, Adeline, or Gabriella. I'm not picky, but yeah, the name that I use most often is Gabby. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm pan. I have a huge weakness for cute boys and girls and non-binary people, so you'll hear me gushing often. I came in as a caretaker, and I help Joseph out with the kiddos. I also help him with stress sometimes. I was also the first girl to show herself, so that's cool. I'm very into advocacy. When it comes for standing up for what's right, I'll always be there, whether I'm fighting for myself or as an ally alongside others. I think it's super important, and I won't stifle myself to make other people more comfortable, especially when it comes to human rights. I don't like to see people get hurt, and I'm not okay with any kind of discrimination. I don't care who you are, I will call you out. It might be nice and educational, but sometimes you gotta be a little bit straightforward. Alternatively, I'll also be there to support you if anyone ever tries to hurt you, victim blame you, or take your rights away. I'm up for being friends with anyone who supports that kind of stuff that I support, especially if you're an advocate yourself. Some of my best friends that you may or may not see on stream are Jen, Riley, and Hannah. I don't get to talk to them much since I'm not out as much as the others, but I think they're all super sweet and you should totally get the chance to be their friend if you can. I love music and almost always have it playing somewhere in the background. Sadly, this also gets songs stuck in my head forever. I'm always humming or singing something to myself, whether it be purposeful or not. I'm a big fan of pop music and general feel-good type stuff, but also music that makes me feel like a boss babe. Basically, songs that you'll hear on your local pop station or in a club are songs that I will listen to. Some of my favorites are Pretty Girl, Bubblegum Bitch, Issues, and Cars That Go Boom. Genre-wise, I like romance, slice of life, fantasy, and true crime the best. I love seeing a strong female protagonist. They tend to be my favorite characters. Princess Peach from the new Mario movie is a great example of this. On the other hand, cute ditzy characters like Sayori from Doki Doki Literature Club or Phoebe from Friends are also really adorable to me. I also like listening to true crime stuff, but I can't consume it all the time since it can be draining to take on all those dark topics at once. I think it's important to pace yourself and check in on your mental health if you consume that type of content. It can be really hard sometimes, and you should always put you first. Sometimes I play video games. You probably got that from the last section, but I figured I'd like to mention it anyway. I tend to play popular stuff because I really just use them as a way to entertain myself when I'm bored. I'm not a huge gamer or anything. Some of my favorites are Animal Crossing and Mario Kart. Princess Peach and Toadette are two of my favorite characters in the whole world. I also really like Cookie from Animal Crossing and Isabelle. While we're on the topic of characters, I'd like to talk a little bit more about some of the ones that I like. I think this will help you understand both who I am and the type of content that I like to consume better. I really like Rapunzel from Tangled. She's definitely my favorite princess out of all the Disney princesses. I like Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. I think she's one of the cutest characters ever, and she is a great role model and example for young girls. I like Miss You from Corpse Party, though I think she gets not as much recognition as she should. She was kind of a side character for the most part, but I think they could have done a lot more with her, and I would love to see more content that kind of features her in a more broad way. I like Madoka and Emma from The Promised Neverland. I think those two are some great examples of young leaders that really go through pretty rough times and they still come out shining. I like Annabeth Chase from Percy Jackson and Emma Woods from Identity 5. And finally, I love Veronica from Heathers and Angelica from Hamilton. I didn't mention this before, but I'm a big fan of musicals and those two are my favorites, even if they are a little mainstream. I read books sometimes too, but those are more rare since they take up more time. I really enjoy books that have good romance in them, and throwing in some fantasy or slice-of-life comedy is another great touch. My favorite book series are Maximum Ride and The Infernal Devices. Both of them are really good, though Maximum Ride is generally for a slightly younger teenage audience, and Infernal Devices is geared more towards the older teen and young adult crowd. Other than that, I love animals and have a long list of pets that I want to own someday. I'm a big fan of cats in particular. They're just so cute. Having a kitten cuddled up on my chest, purring up a storm, can be so relaxing. I also like flowers and pastel pink. Pastel pink is definitely my favorite color, and you'll see it all over most of my profiles, if not all over me. I love creating and indulging in different aesthetics, particularly ones that have a pretty vibe to me. Lolita and cottagecore are some of my favorites. If I could live in a pretty little cottage in the countryside and forage in the woods and have a bunch of cute little kids running around, that would be my dream life for real. I also try to look after myself. I like buying self-care products like face masks and bath bombs. If I'm out, I get myself something small that makes me happy. Sometimes I'll paint my nails or dress up in cute feminine clothes, but I'd love to do that a little more than I already do. Basically, I just make sure to treat myself well. I want everybody to know that I'm a headmate who age regresses, so you'll see me joining in on regression-themed streams sometimes. On top of that, I also help out others who age regress whenever they need it, so I'm pretty deep in the community. I'm happy to give advice or even sub in as a kind of babysitter if we're friends and you ever need one. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's fine. You don't need to watch our age regression stuff, and if you don't want to be involved with me because I age regress, that's okay too. Please just respect age regressors. A lot of us do it to cope. Finally, I don't have any additional chat rules, but please try not to bring up stuff about war, tragedies, death, anything along that kind of line. I think they're really important to talk about, but there's a time and a place, and those topics can be really triggering for other members of the audience. Please only discuss them if I bring it up first. I'm also wary of people named Vinny due to past experiences, so please don't take that personally. That's all I had to say, so thank you for listening, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye!